Alan West, the extremely conservative wingnut, in the middle of a conversation about the election, talked about how Democrats are the racists and the KKK members.
When you look at what the Democratic side did this time in certain races, are they just as fear-mongering, just as hateful, and really willing to push that hate button just as easily as some will on the other side, or perhaps even, in your opinion, more so?
Look, you look at the history of the Democrat Party, it has always been about fear-mongering, intimidation of the voters, coercion. You know, they're the party of segregation. They're the party of the Ku Klux Klan. They're the party of Jim Crow. They're the party of poll taxes and literacy tests and things of this nature. It's just that they continue to do it, except with a different type of tactic in the 21st century. You know, the Republicans have always tried to run on issues and getting people to understand the policy.
Where do I begin? Republicans always run on issues. They always run on policies and facts. Really? You do know there's been no new Republican ideas since, ever. It's always the same thing. It's always, okay, here's what we're going to do, boys. You ready? Let's deregulate, cut taxes on the rich. Oh, and also, find a country we can go to war with. Those are your ideas. Those are your policies. Those are the issues that you're running on. Warmongering and making rich people richer at the expense of the poor and the middle class. Running on issues, my ass. Your party has all the people who still believe in creationism. Your party has all the people who deny the existence of climate change, which 99.9% of the studies literally say it's real, it's man-made, we need to do something about it ASAP. We're the party of ideas, the idea of denying reality. God, he's so silly. He's so silly. I can't take Alan West, man. No wonder why this guy was kicked out of Congress. So, that first part is laugh out loud funny. But then also, he said, well, the Democrats, you know how they are. They fearmonger. They fearmonger nonstop. Right. So, it was us that was screaming, oh my God, ISIS is going to come to Iowa and fuck your grandma. Okay, I'm not kidding about this. Tom Cotton, who was running in Arkansas, who won, this guy said ISIS is working with Mexican drug cartels to come across the border, travel hundreds of miles to Arkansas, and attack. Okay, the different levels and degrees in which this doesn't make sense, you can't even count it all. It's immeasurable. So who's the translator who can translate the languages? And ISIS is beheading Christians wherever they are. Right now it's Iraq and Syria. So they're going to talk to the Mexican drug cartels who all the members are Christians, and they're just going to work with them. They're not going to behead them, but that's what they do. They behead Christians. They say they behead Christians. So they're working with people who they want to behead. They don't speak the same language, but somehow they're communicating. They're meeting with each other, and then they're both going to attack Arkansas instead of attacking a place right over the border, like New Mexico. It's so insane. It's so fucking insane. But this is, the Republicans ran on fear. The exact thing he's saying that the Democrats do, the Republicans do. ISIS was an issue. Ebola. There's one case of Ebola in America. They acted like 337,000 people have it right now, and tomorrow it'll be 200 million. This is the same party that got us into war. You remember this, right? Iraq? Saddam Hussein, weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein did 9/11. Meanwhile, Saddam Hussein didn't do 9/11. He had nothing to do with it. And he didn't have weapons of mass destruction. He didn't have the anthrax weapon that Colin Powell said he had. And he didn't have nuclear weapons. But they fearmonger, let's go fight wars. But it's the Democrats who are fearmongers, right? The people talking about let's raise the minimum wage, fearmongers. Well, they're scaring you about working for $4 an hour. We should. We don't, but we should. Because you should work for a living wage. That's a no-brainer. But this is the kind of rhetoric that we're dealing with on the right. And finally, the most important point, I saved this for the end for a reason. The wildly misleading Well, the Democrats have always been the party of the racists, always been the party of the KKK, always been the party of Jim Crow and poll tests and literacy tests or poll tax and literacy tests. Yes, Alan. Back when the Democrats were the conservative party, they did do all those things. You know where all those people have gone now? To the Republicans. That's not conjecture. That's not opinion. That's a fact. When Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, he was quoted as saying, the Democrats are going to lose the South for a generation. That was his way of saying all of the Southern Dixiecrats, the racist Democrats, now they're going to switch parties and go to the Republicans. And that's exactly what they did. So this isn't a Democrat-Republican thing. It's a conservative versus liberal thing. And the conservatives were always the racist people. Just back then it was conservative Democrats. Now it's conservative Republicans. And the liberals have always been in favor of African Americans. They've always been anti-racist. It's in the definition of being a liberal. But notice what they do. Look, I can't come to any other conclusion. It's not just that this guy is stupid, which he is. He's also lying. He's also going out of his way to lie to you. Because anybody who knows the history of the civil rights era, the 1960s, and what JFK did and Lyndon B. Johnson did and the Republicans and the Democrats, they are purposefully pointing you in the wrong direction when they say something broad and generalized, like, it's the Democrats or the party of the KKK. Right, like Bill Clinton right now is at a fucking Klan rally. Bernie Sanders is somewhere burning a cross. That's the implication they're giving you, and it's totally not true. The conservatives have always been the ones that are racist, and that is the case even today in the Republican Party, the conservative Republicans.